I'm going to cool off.
That was probably one of the most scary, treacherous solo walks.
Trying to teach me some of my Navy day stuff. Loving the seals.
Let's put Quinson on the map for prehistory.
Hi, I'm Daz and she's B, and we're on a 12-week road trip around France with our boys and our greyhound Sammy. Join us as we explore the history, beauty and fun we can squeeze in while getting to grips with the challenges of working and home educating on the road as a family in France, living a life less ordinary as we escape in the motorhome. As you saw in our last video, we've now begun our journey north away from the Med, and in this video we find ourselves at the beautiful Gorges du Verdon near the town of Quinson. Here, to be precise.
Oh gosh, please, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Oh golly, it's not looking good. You reckon? No, it's a bit snug, babe. It's a bit snug. Oh, yeah, someone with a massive awning. Oh, please let there be a space down the end. Oh. Very last space. I mean, it's contentious. You know, we're a bit stuck out, but who cares? High five, babe. Chores done. By the lake. Job's a good one. Well, we've woken up in the beautiful town of Quinson this morning, and we're right by the Verdon Gorge, and that's where I was planning to have my dog walk this morning, but Sammy has other ideas. We started to head towards the lake, or Lac de Quinson, but he spun us around now and we're heading into the town. We already saw the gorge last night and it is absolutely stunning. Well, the opening to it is on our side. Now apparently it's the lower gorges that are accessible and a bit easier if you're travelling with children. I'm still a bit nervous. I have to admit, going to bed last night I was imagining all sorts of negative things about having my two boys on the kayak whilst Dad is on the paddleboard. The fact that it's so deep, even though we'll all be in wetsuits, it's really cold. Just a bit nervous about travelling on it today, but I'm sure it'll be fine. We did try and get an electric boat, but they're all completely sold out. All the companies that sell the electric boats have basically put signs up saying, complete, don't ask. An electric boat we could have got is maybe in about 6 days' time. But we're not going to be here in 6 days' time. We're heading back up the country. So you haven't been able to wild camp in this area since '87. So there's lots of signs up about that. So we're due to have 35 degrees as a high today. So I saw those temperatures and panicked yesterday. We've woken up this morning and there's condensation on the windows and I'm wearing trousers. So it gets cold at night time. Yay! The more I look at these rocks in front of me, the more I think we're not heading into Quinson village or town. I think we're heading into the actual prehistoric centre. There's a massive museum right next to the camping air. There's a car park there, but nobody is parking illegally. There's so many signs everywhere about no wild camping, and the public toilets have a big sign saying no removal of your chemical toilets in here. So they've obviously really clamped down on it. It's definitely not flip-flop terrain. I thought I was going around a lake this morning, but no, I'm heading into a prehistoric village. This almost feels like I'm trespassing, but hey ho. We're going up then, Sam. There's too many good sniffs, isn't there? Too many good sniffs. Sammy keeps looking around at me and saying, seriously? Are you seriously taking me up here this morning? I don't know what I'm doing, Sammy, but we just keep getting higher and higher. If you do this, and it's the prehistoric village in Quinson, may I suggest sensible footwear. We've got to here, and Sammy is voted with his feet. We are up so darn high, it's kind of scary just to get that view of Quinson and some of the gorges over there. Well, that's a treat in itself, an unexpected treat. Yeah, I can just see the bridge where we were yesterday. If I zoom in, here we go. That's the start of the gorge. I'm glad I put that nut spray all over me. I can feel myself rappelling all living creatures around me, apart from Sam. Now to go down, even more scary. Get some of these markings on the rocks, and they don't look like weathering marks. Wonder if we've got some cave engravings there, or prehistoric engravings. Oh, we've nearly made it to the bottom. Sammy has been absolutely brilliant. He's been slowing down every time I say slowly, because that was probably one of the most scary, treacherous solo walks.
And if you'd like a scary and treacherous walk, simply leave the safety of the park up here, then let your dog or your dog's nose lead you along a merry dance in a zigzag fashion towards some rather high mountains at the back and find the nearest rocky path you can, ending with a beautiful view somewhere around here, or here, or here, or here, or there.
So here is the sign. Blink and you'll miss it. You can get into Quinson that way, but you can go into the prehistoric area that way. I'll look up what Sentia means. Well, I looked it up and it means prehistoric path. So Sentia Prehistoric is prehistoric path. So maybe I was looking for some caves, but I'm not going to find them there, just a pathway. However, Quinson is incredibly important as an area of prehistory because huge caves have been found here called bombs or something. So there were people living in these caves around the Gorges du Verdon 400,000 years ago. So it started with the lower Paleolithic, and then a few thousand years, 100,000 years later, we had the Neanderthal man, and then Cro-Magnon, and then even humans inhabited the caves. So they've been a site of archaeological importance and has put Quinson on the map for prehistory. And of course it makes sense that the largest prehistoric museum in Europe is housed here in Quinson. There's me thinking the Dordogne was all about prehistory, but actually there's plenty of it here, and we are in the Haute or High Provence area. Oh, there we go, there's the sign for the Sentia Prehistoric. Now, had I checked what Sentia meant, then maybe I'd realise it was a pathway. Still, it was an adventure, not a village. Well, we've been practicing with the kayak this morning. It's been quite good fun. Now we've got used to it, and that is our destination this afternoon. It's very cold, so at the moment I'm trying to heat up like a terrapin on the rocks. Nutter! This is the cutest thing ever. Look, I'm testing my life jacket. Keep it stay nice and cool. Just getting some energy food.
It is midday. Assuming positions.
Oh, that's cool.
The position Indy has assumed is right over there in the middle of the lake. So I think he'll come back for us. It's a shame that river isn't the torrent it was last night. It would have swept him away under that bridge. Anyway, it's probably better for us amateurs. So that's where we're headed, between the two gorges, to see what we will see.
If we go all the way down to the next lake, which is Lac Esperon or Lac d'Esperon, I'm not sure. It takes 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back. There's every chance we won't do that.
That's it, you can help Mummy out like that while she's drinking her cava.
Carver?
So we looked up the temperature of the water in the Verdon Gorge because it is feeling rather icy cold, and it's between 20 rising to 24 degrees in the summer. We didn't wonder whether it was the same temperature as the waters near the Titanic. And I said, with icebergs, probably even colder there. Isn't it amazing, Dina?
Really nice.
And if being on the water's not your thing, no problem. There's a cliffside path you can take so you can see all the sights.
My Navy Day stuff.
Yes, etiquette.
When I was in the SEALs.
Yeah, Navy days, as if. Have you seen him? He's like a French duke. Closest thing Daz gets to the Navy is the Jolly Sailor in Portsmouth. And that's a pub.
This is gonna burn.
so badly.
-5. Go on then.
Ready, Mum?
Oh my gosh.
Your voice went up an octave.
Are you okay?
I'm not hot anymore.
So I've just noticed having Daz on board, it's like having an engine or a motor. I needn't bother. In fact, I am very pointless. My arms are like chicken arms.
I picked up something out of the box, by the way, so I'm boat now.
Is it a turdus?
It's
Floater. How are you rating your journey so far, Daddy?
I'm loving it. I'm jealous of the relaxing electric boat.
No, I'm not jealous of those at all.
I really wanted a 4-hour workout anyway.
I'm loving how cold my undercarriage is with the splashing water in the shade. Loving seeing the reflections of the water on the edges of the rocks. It's like a huge painting that never gets boring to look at because it's constantly changing colour and shape. You sure about this, dear?
No, it's not very high, it's just possible to...
It's cold.
Water, and it is actually flowing that way. There's fish down there. Hey Ian, there's fish down here. Ready for my swan dive?
Yeah, I think I'm filming you. Oh my god.
Tom Daly, eat her. Come on, you might get 250 quid.
So Daddy's fantastic picnic location involves nowhere to sit and eat.
Sorry, it's because little man there kept asking me every 2 minutes about stopping.
Ringing telephone.
Look, you can see him.
Yeah, there's a rock there.
Yes, but there's no
branch
way to
there.
Actually, like, put your feet down. And I don't know whether I've mentioned before, but I actually have an allergy to cold.
Right, I better put this down and help you with that tub.
You're not stopping recording here.
I just waited to see if there was a reaction to that French bum 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 thing. There wasn't. Right, food time. Drink up! So I brought us 5 straws and a barrel of oil. It's a bit chewy. Yes, every so often down the river you'll find a nutter or two happy to jump off a massive cliff, usually a man. Unfortunately, after 5 minutes of filming, nothing spectacular happened here.
Well, we've just finished a monumental kayak and paddleboard down through the lower gorges, through the Gorges du Verdon.
That was in total. We've had this thing. We've had it for, what did we say, 6 hours for €34. So actually it worked out quite well. We might take it back now, but we've got it. We want it for another 2.5, 3 hours.
It's actually €40. There you go. But yeah, it's been really good. It's interesting to steer when you've got 2 children on board. It seemed to keep veering off course. But yeah, I can imagine if it was September time or June time, it would be quieter. But August, it's a bit mental in certain parts of it. So,
Yeah, there's little
you have to
pinch
have your wits
points.
about you.
There's a few places you can rock up and stop for a snack, but it really is like balancing on a rock or two at the edge of these cliffs. And there's a few places where you can do jumps at different heights, but it's all at your own risk. You can also use your GPS to work out how far you've gone. We went about halfway down, and that took us probably 2 hours down and 2 hours back. The flow of the water's not too bad today compared to yesterday, but it is cold. So the person who told us it was cold was right.
Yeah.
Oh look, some ducks just wandering past. You will see a few ducks if you come here and go down there, but it's a scorcher of a day.
Yeah, it really is. So that cold water's been quite appreciated. But my favourite thing to do is to watch the dogs that are on board.
Yeah, we even saw at one point a paddleboard with a paddler at the front and then a lady sat on a chair at the back, which is very brave.
Very brave, quite
very
genius,
funny.
but
Yeah. And also there are the electric boats which we wanted to hire, but you have to book in advance on high season,
2
of course.
weeks or so.
But we decided, actually watching them, that there's not much going on the boat. Okay, you get to sort of get to the other end faster than we would, but to experience actually paddling down the river and then to stop and jump off the rocks, I think it's nicer to be on something like a paddleboard. And a
Yeah,
kayak.
that was pretty cool today, but I'm going to feel it tomorrow. The old bingo wings have had a workout. Right.
Right, before these boys have an accident on the rocks and we're off to another hospital, we'll take care of them and then dinner, I
Yes.
guess. But before we head back for dinner, I'm going to cool off. Okay, I'm cold, I'm cold.
Yeah, I was going to say, get out before you go into cold water shock. Well, after a day's hard kayaking, what better thing is there to do than more exercise? So we're walking into the middle of Quinson and we're going to see if we can find Le Glace, because we have to continue our journey. We spent 2 months going down to the south of France, but we've only got 1 month to make our way back up, in fact less than that, so we've got to start making some progress. At the end of the 14th century? 19th of course. So this is like a wash house where you'd wash your clothes and you'd hang them at the end of the 19th century. De lavoir. So we're walking through the market in Quinson, and this stall behind me has caught my eye because it's got lots of precious and semi-precious stones. But what's interesting is that the lady's got a book there and she's talking people who are buying their stones through what the stones mean. It's really interesting. There's lots of yoga bits on there. I've got some friends who are into that sort of thing, so I might have a little look later. So we've decided to drive instead of stay put, haven't we? But we're having a little drink in Quinson before we move on. Feeling very tired.
Yeah, so maybe drinking is the wrong thing to do.
So it's blowing a bit of a hoolie earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, so on our little site, I couldn't help but notice someone had their awning out, but they weren't at home. And I heard a leg move as it got lifted up by the wind. And having dreamt that nightmare myself and gone and driven all the way to like 45 minutes away from my house to buy a set of stakes to make sure ours was pinned down, I watched it carefully, and again the wind got up underneath it, lifted both legs off this time. So I jogged over. A Belgian guy next to us also jogged over, and between the pair of us, we tied it down to some chairs, and I put some extra chairs, folded up some of the other chairs and put them on top. And then 20 minutes later we were about to start eating our dinner, and the kids were sat down on our table with the 3 chairs we had spare, because I was rather sort of selfishly using 2 chairs to let the paddleboard dry out. And our next door neighbours, French next door neighbours, spotted us standing up, and they'd just finished their meal and they offered us their chairs and table. How nice is that? And we cleaned it afterwards and everything. It was nice to do something for somebody else, and in return it was nice to have neighbours do something nice for us.
Yeah, it was really nice, wasn't it? It made me think we need to get ourselves some nicer chairs.
Yeah, absolutely. The downside was we've now felt the luxury of luxury chairs.
Yeah.
And we want some.
Well, a well-earned beer, darling, for all of our hard work today.
Yeah.
Santé.
Stop talking, drink. So on the way back from town and our little ice cream and beer, we stumbled into the park Prehistoric. I think it's like part of the museum, but this bit doesn't seem to be gated off. You're allowed to walk around. The boys have found great joy entering what appears to be a monumental burial building. You can hear them in the background. But they have other buildings here and some teepees up the top there we might go and explore. It's actually really nice, the idea that this isn't so precious that they have to lock it up at night. There's just a couple of simple exhibits and everybody seems to be respecting it. How nice. I don't think it would last 5 minutes where I live. It's a dry stone house. I think they need to just make the doorway a tiny bit bigger.
Sammy, is this cool? Sammy.
Wow.
Guess what? I'm gonna feed Cremac.
This is a little doer-upper.
Dad, help Cremac.
Oh dear. Is B coming in?
Dad, help.
No.
Dad, help.
Right, throw him on the fire. We'll have him for dinner. Well, at the end of the day, as we all know, it gets dark. And by the light of the setting sun, we headed on to our next destination. This time round, it was about an hour and a quarter north to the rather spectacular town of Sisteron. And If you don't want to miss that, then why not bookmark our channel by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget, if you're going to climb a mountain prehistoric footpath, don't do it in your flip-flops. Until our next escape, thanks for watching.